where do babies come from? Well, not human babies, but rather robot babies. But also not like robot babies, but human babies who have a robot father. Okay, look, Vision, who is more or less a robot, got Scarlet Witch pregnant, and that is weird. That is like really, really weird. This was one of those comic subjects that I never wanted to touch with a 10-foot pole, but since it's apparently now mainstream thanks to WandaVision, and since I desperately need the views, I'm here to break it down. So because this is comic books that we're talking about, you know that the answer to how the Vision could father children is ridiculous. But would you believe that the answer is demons? Well, I mean, probably if you've read the title and thumbnail, but I don't know about you guys, but the idea that these babies are made out of demons is somehow more confusing than if he just made them the old-fashioned way. So, comic history lesson. Vision and Scarlet Witch got married a long time ago, and they decided to stop being superheroes, move to the suburbs, and try having a normal life. Well, one day after fighting a bunch of zombies, because even though they were trying to be normal people, that kind of stuff still happens to them, Vision is like, "Hey babe, we should have a baby." And she's like, "Yeah, sure, but how?" You see, Vision is a synthezoid. He's not just an android, but rather an entire artificial human. He more or less has all the human organs and functions, but they're artificial. We even know that he produces fluids because in his second issue ever, we got this famous shot of him crying. But I have to ask the obvious question. Does Vision have the proper equipment? Okay, hear me out. So Vision has a surprisingly robust love life. Future video all about that coming soon. But there's been times where we've seen him looking like a Ken doll, and others where artists specifically cover his junk. Now, I don't want to talk about that more because I'm probably already going to get demonetized, but I'm cursed with this knowledge, so now you have to be as well. Despite the mechanics, Wanda was able to get pregnant, and thanks to Dr. Strange, the midwife supreme, she gave birth to the twins, Thomas and William. But here's the thing. They're not actually real. Now, we should have known that strange things were amok when Wanda fired several nannies because they were babbling on about how the babies would sometimes disappear. Well, Wanda didn't believe them, but yeah, it turns out that that was actually a real thing, and it happened every single time that Wanda wasn't consciously thinking about her kids. Come on, can't a mom be anything other than just a mother? So like what, if my mom thought about anything besides me for even a fraction of a second, I would just disappear? Mom, what the hell?
Sorry, I was watching a movie.
Okay, I need to shift gears here for just a second, but I swear it will make sense here in a little bit. So let me introduce you to Martin Preston. He's a movie executive that lost his arm in a car crash. Then Marvel's version of the devil Mephisto showed up and offered to replace both of his arms with demon arms. The catch, though, is that Mephisto took his soul and ripped it into 5 pieces, leaving a star-shaped hole in his chest that would be filled in by these fragments. In order to track down these soul pieces, Preston became the villain Master Pandemonium. Well, one day, Pandemonium attacked the West Coast Avengers, the team that Wanda and Vision were on, and he kidnapped their kids. Oh, and if you're wondering why Vision is pure white here, well, that's because he was destroyed and rebuilt, but didn't have a personality. Anyway, the team goes to the demon realm where it's revealed that the kids are now Pandemonium's arms. So I guess this now means that I'm qualified to be a Marvel villain. I call them like and subscribe, so please do so because I could really use the help. What is this bit? By the way, Pandemonium claims to be unbeatable because he has babies for arms. Sure, alright, but what's the big deal? Well, Scarlet Witch is insanely powerful, sure, but she's not strong enough to literally create life. So what happened is that she wanted kids so badly that her magic and mutant powers combined together and allowed her to reach into like the soul ether, but that was at the exact same time that Mephisto was shattering Pandemonium's soul in exchange for the demon arms. That's right, her babies were actually 2 fragments of this dude's chest hole. But wait, no, that's not true, because the kids are actually demon souls. This bit has gone on for way too long. So here's what really happened. A few years back, Mephisto fought the Fantastic Four, and Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, destroyed him and shattered his essence into 6 parts. So when Mephisto was giving Pandemonium the demon arms, he never actually messed with his soul. Mephisto was just manipulating him into collecting his shattered essence. So yeah, Wanda did create her children out of lost soul fragments, but it wasn't Pandemonium's, It was the Devil's. Mephisto absorbed the kids into him and is now complete, but in that moment he's destroyed all over again by Wanda's magic teacher, Agatha Harkness, who had to wait until Mephisto was whole again in order to destroy him again. So now the day is saved, except for the kids are gone for good, which is pretty sad, but to make things easier, Agatha wiped Wanda's mind and everyone agreed to just never bring it up. Well, that is until Wasp reminded Wanda, and then she remembered, oh yeah, my children were literally taken by the devil and all my friends lied to me about it. So she went crazy, sought out Dr. Doom, got even more power, and then just completely wrecked the Avengers shit. But there was that one time where Wanda did remember, but I guess the writers forgot about it, so I guess you can too. Because this storyline is pretty insane. So you'd think that that would be the end of all the demon baby shenanigans, but nope! Let me introduce you to these two characters, Speed and Wiccan. One has magic powers, and the other one has white hair and super speed. In addition to that, even though they're not related and were born to completely different families, these kids look identical. And also, their names are Thomas and William, the exact same names of Wanda and Vision's kids. So yeah, these kids are the reincarnation of Scarlet Witch and Vision's kids, and they're members of a team called the Young Avengers, which I love a whole heck of a lot. Their entire thing of, wait, are we actually Scarlet Witch's kids, was an interesting question they would go back and forth on until it was just flat out confirmed. But really that was it. The Young Avengers were everywhere for a bit, but then that stopped. Now, Wiccan does pop up from time to time since he's actually a really interesting and powerful character, but also because he's one of the most famous gay characters that Marvel has. Speed, on the other hand, is interesting since he was the bad boy of the Young Avengers, but he's never really given that significant a page time these days, and it seems like Marvel has more or less forgotten that he exists. But in any case, Wanda's whole baby saga was a really weird roller coaster of emotions, and even though it led to the creation of two of my favorite Marvel characters and some cool storylines, I still think the entire thing was needlessly complicated, and it's a prime example of why new readers are scared off by superhero comics as a whole. So hopefully I've made this make at least a little bit more sense, and if you want to learn more about all the crazy things in comic books, well, good news, this is an entire show. It's called Because Comics, and I take a look at all the crazy, strange, and straight up bizarre things that make comic books, well, comic books. So if you're interested, I'm gonna have an easy playlist for you guys to take a look at. So enjoy. Like I said earlier, I could really use the views. But anyway, I hope you learned at least a little something new, and hopefully I'll see you next time.